So every single small group leader in the history of family ministry has struggled keeping kids and or students on task and focused. Now, even though it's tough, there are some tools that can help you manage your group more effectively and can help you win as a small group leader. But first, let's clearly define a win in a small group, because sometimes we think a win is having this life-altering discussion, or it's having your group like intently focused on what you're doing, right? But the truth is that a win in a small group is really about moving the needle. Think of it like a clock. Now the goal is to get to midnight, which is a student consistently being known and experiencing God. And so a win in small group is when you move the needle toward that. And so ask yourself, did you move the group towards being known and loved? Did they take steps towards experiencing God? And if so, the needle's moving. And you'll know these things are happening because they show up consistently. And over time, there are some tangible signs of being known, like they're telling you about things in their lives that are important to them. It could be about their soccer team. It could be about a friendship, their pet, a family, or something else. Also, you're going to see growth in ways such as a deeper understanding of God, of themselves, of this world, and more. These things happen, ready? Over time. We're kind of hard on ourselves sometimes, and so each week, our goal is to move the needle a little bit. And when we focus on the mission, we can make this happen. With all that said, here are some tools that might be helpful to you. First, establish rhythms to focus. It is critical to set a consistent rhythm for your group. Whether it's starting things off by setting all the phones in a pile at the middle of a table, if that's a thing with your age group, or having everyone share their highs and lows of the week, or a funny question. Having a rhythm to start your group helps them know it's time to start. It's time to focus. Just caution, don't spend more than a couple minutes on this, but if it helps your group focus, do it. Next is protect your group time. There are so many different conversations that are going to take place during small group, and knowing how to handle them can sometimes become difficult. And if we don't know how to do this, we can lose our group and get really discouraged. And we don't want that. We don't want you to walk away discouraged or frustrated. And so here's 3 roles that we might see in our groups, right? They are the chatterbox, the reserved, and the burdened. Well, let's break those down. We've got the chatterbox. This person has so much to say, and most of the time, it has nothing to do with what the group is talking about. Sometimes just saying this during the group, like, hey, thanks for offering to answer, but I'd really like to hear what others have to say. That might work. Other times, you might need to have a one-on-one conversation outside of the group, and you got to let them know. You got to let them know that you love their enthusiasm. But you really need them to help you create space for others to speak more. You're like enlisting them on your team. Hey, help me create space for others to speak up more. And you do that when you let other people talk. Next, we have the reserved. This student very rarely, if ever, talks during small group time. It is so important to make sure this student feels like the group is a safe place to share. Consider asking them a question directly to get them to start talking, but making sure also to encourage them and really listen to what they say. Because if they feel like what they say doesn't matter, if people talk over them or dismiss what they say, it's going to be so difficult to keep them talking. And so we have to be careful to protect our group time from it being a place where extroverts talk and introverts count the minutes until it's over. Finally, we have the burdened. Now, the burdened is a student that has some really heavy things weighing on them. A rough week, a loss, family issues, or maybe they're just sad. The list can be endless. And for these people, sometimes they will share in the group, but a conversation outside the group is probably where it should take place. And there's going to be times where what's going on is going to be outside of your expertise and you might not have an answer, but you can empathize with them saying, wow, that's really hard. I don't know what to say, but I'm so glad you told me and I'm here for you. Sometimes just saying that can be the best thing that you can say. Now, the safety of the child or student is always first. So if there's a concern for their safety, You just got to make sure to inform whoever's in charge. But this is also a great opportunity for you to talk to them one-on-one if they're in student ministry, or to engage the parent at any age and to let them know that their child seems to be carrying something heavy. Because our tendency is going to be to just, small group needs to be about this, but it doesn't. And it hurts your group because no one else gets to share. But imagine this. Imagine that your group comes in to start small group, and as soon as they do, everyone puts away their phones and they stop talking, and they can't wait to share their highs and lows. And after that, you open up with a question about the message that one of the students asks a question of their own after that. Another student answers the question, and next thing you know, the conversation is taking off. I get it. You're saying, that doesn't seem possible. But it is possible. And maybe you'll even be in the position where there's 5 minutes left of small groups. You say, students, hey, we got to take time, or kids, we got to take time and pray for each other. And you do that. Now, I know this is kind of pie in the sky to some of you, but it's about moving the needle and taking one step towards it. And I also want to make you aware of this. At our best, every campus is going to use a structure that's going to put a leader in position to care for you and to help keep you growing as a small group leader. This might be a team leader, it might be a point leader, it might be team support. Whichever the role, I want you to know this. They have stepped into that role because they want to lead and shepherd your team. Sure, you might have a relationship with a staff member in your area of ministry, but hear this. That staff person cannot effectively care for every leader within their ministry. Jesus has called us to equip the saints for the work of the ministry. And our team leaders, our point leaders, our team support people, they are there to help you win each week with your small group and to help the next generation be known and experience God. And so they might text you, they might call you, they might take you for coffee or something else. And this is the ministry that they've been called to. And so do your best to help them along. Listen to this. Sometimes it's kind of hard to reach out to people, to start these relationships. And maybe that excites you, but if you don't see this happening in your ministry, meaning no one is reaching out to you, then talk to your staff person, because maybe they need someone to step up into that role. But they can be helpful in moving us all toward doing ministry at our best. You see, we want to help you win as a small group leader. And this happens when we can move the needle a little bit every week, and we get a little bit closer to helping students be known and experiencing God.